Are you feeling a little bit of pressure every morning you wake up and feel like, oh, how is 2025 going to be any different? Do you feel maybe like your life is like a Groundhog's Day and no matter how many good intentions you have, you're still doing the same old? I hear you. You need some relief. I'm so glad you're at this podcast because that's the purpose of this episode, to give you relief. So let yourself receive the things I'm sharing today. Unless you receive it and allow it to percolate in your brain, you're not going to make any permanent changes. You're not going to have that kind of life that you really want. Today, we're going to be talking about 4 different strategies to create relief in your life. It's going to surprise you because I never thought of it this way before. Just like a kaleidoscope, when you move it around different configurations, these ideas and ways of thinking are going to make a difference. I'm going to share an example of how one of my clients was able to use these tools to help her create a different life than she has before. And so we had this little challenge for 2 weeks where I had Marco Polo support. So Marco Polo is a video app, and you could just report during the week what was going on for you. It was just before Christmas, and her husband was gone for a week, had lists of all the things that she wanted to get done because he wasn't there. She realized after trying to manage all these different lists that she was spending so much time on creating all these lists that it was taking away time for her to be actually doing the things she wanted to do. She started to laugh, and she was able to report to us, this is one of my strategies of avoiding the things. And she was able to find so much relief in finally being honest with herself and saying, you know what? I'm causing myself more trouble. No wonder I have some of this anxiety that's hanging around. No wonder I'm putting all this pressure on myself because I'm creating a lot more pressure for myself and I'm not actually getting the relief that I want. I love that you're here and I love that I can share this with you. And I'm really curious of what's going to change in your life because of this podcast. I want you to set your intention right now of saying, when I'm listening to this podcast, I'm going to open up my brain to receive something that will help me. And I can promise you, when you just allow, that's why I said relief and how to receive it, you're now giving your brain permission to receive the wisdom and then trust that the wisdom you take in, that's what's needed. So just like with trauma, and I talk about trauma, like there's the small T trauma and the big T trauma, everyone has different variations. And recently I was coaching myself and thinking about a situation in my life. I needed answers. If I was going to move forward, I needed a resolution. It was a turning point for me. It was fascinating that when I was coaching myself on this one situation, my brain went back to that situation where I said, I have to create some sort of resolution here or else I can't move forward. My brain was saying, don't worry, Dara. You have had many times in your life where you felt this crossroads and you have always been able to figure it out. We can have these moments where we can get this wisdom from our potentially like those traumatic kind of events. And just to define, a small T trauma is like an experience where you remember where you were, what you were wearing, or the people around you, because it was such an instructive moment. It's the opposite of trauma, a defining moment in your life where you can learn from and grow. Okay. We all need relief because we all are putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. When it comes to weight loss, we think we can't feel good about ourselves unless we look a certain way. A lot of us will go into our sewing rooms and see the hundreds and thousands of dollars spent on fabric and start feeling a lot of guilt and shame. Like, oh, I've spent so much money and now I'm just going to keep buying more fabric. I don't even like this fabric anymore. And I spent so much money on it. Okay. So this happens not just with weight loss, it happens with all sorts of areas. The problem is if we are feeling a lot of pressure and we're avoiding, resisting, or reacting to it, we're just increasing the pressure. The more that we can just accept, oh, this is the time right now that I'm feeling a lot of pressure, then we're able to look at it and see what we do differently. All right. So the first concept I wanted to talk about was back in 1519, Hernan Cortez was an explorer and he got to Mexico. It was a really rough journey, was worried that his sailors were going to just take off in the boat because it was tough on the land. So he literally burned the boats. That is something I have thought a lot about when it comes to making a difference in the way you're living. A lot of my clients, myself included, have had to literally burn down so much of what we thought was our reality. So think about our relationships. When I was growing up, I was modeled, this is what a marriage looks like. And I was also shown by my mother's reaction to things, a good husband should do this or act a certain way. And it's very interesting because I have been able to separate myself from what my mom thought was a good marriage. And now I get to decide for myself what the criteria is for a good husband. When I catch myself thinking, oh, he's doing it all wrong, or, oh, I'm not a good wife because this is how my husband's acting, I realize, oh, wait a minute, that's not true. And it's so helpful for me to say, oh, actually, no, a good husband is allowed to have his emotions. He's allowed to raise his voice every once in a while. He doesn't have to always have his chin up and think everything is wonderful and awesome all the time. That's just an example that has helped me so much because it's given me permission to decide what I want to think about what a good husband does or doesn't. And the same thing with me. A good mom doesn't always have to have a very immaculate, clean house. A good mom can actually go to bed if the house is not 100% clean. I just get to decide that. So I also got to decide that about weight loss. I don't have to have a six-pack or look a certain way for me to believe that I'm a good enough person. I want to encourage you to decide what are some of the things that you need to just burn and you're never going to go back there. Second one, let the pendulum swing. So I've been really wanting to share this with you because it was such a fascinating coaching call. So I have a client who unfortunately, her husband died of cancer even before he retired. They had this whole bucket list of all these things they wanted to do when he retired. And it was cut short because of cancer. And he died. It's been such a dramatic life change. I've been working with her for 4 years. And this year, she decided that she was not going to decorate for Christmas. She also decided that she wasn't going to make a big turkey dinner or any traditional dinner. In fact, she decided she was going to order Chinese. And people can come and have Chinese, and if they want, great. If not, no big deal. She decided that she had 3 presents. She bought them, wrapped them, but everything else was just money. I said to her, this is a perfect opportunity for you to collect data. And when I talk about the pendulum swinging in our society, we can go from super strict disciplinarian school systems to the child wants to do that, they can do it. And it's just so loosey-goosey. And so there's that huge swing. And I said, why not just let yourself see what Christmas looks like without any decorations or any of that? What I recommended to her and what I would recommend to you is let's collect data. So what did you like about the Christmas where you decorated nothing? Like you did not decorate at all. What did you like about the things that you did? And then what were the things that you missed? And when you can take that data and you can really look at it, now you can create for next year Oh, we're going to try this next. Oh, I'm going to look at this next. Oh, I hadn't thought of this thing. So maybe she wanted to, maybe next year she really missed doing some Secret Santa stuff. I really want you to learn to slow down and look at it all and start evaluating and saying, what do I really want? Okay. The third one is question everything and then answer them your way. So I'm just going to give a simple example. My mom would always make French meat pie called tourtière and mushroom soup. When she was newly married, my parents lived in Eastern Canada, right in Ottawa, which across the river is Quebec. My mom thought it would be nice to have some French traditions in our family, which was lovely. And every Christmas Eve, she made delicious tourtière and she made this homemade mushroom soup that she got from a lady that she had a strong connection with. And she wanted to do that for us. And then I realized I don't have to make tourtière. In fact, I don't want to make tourtière. For a while, we would go for Christmas Eve to my dad's. So I didn't actually have to decide on what I would make for Christmas Eve because we go there. And then we moved to the island. We weren't close by. So I got to decide, what do I want to make for Christmas Eve? Before that, we lived in Ontario and I would go to my sister's house for Christmas Eve. So I would just eat whatever she served. Quite often, she would make mushroom soup and other things. It was fun to just say, what do I want for my kid? I had a roommate that went to Wendy's and I thought I could just do that or I could do something else. So we decided on beef sandwiches, like beef dip sandwiches, because my heritage of being from Alberta, I thought it'd be good to have beef. And then there was a delicious salad that my dad would serve at his house. And I thought I would take that. And then my sister always made her famous square bar dessert. So question everything and answer it in your way and just own it. The fourth thing that I want to recommend is to create a new baseline and evaluate. If you keep thinking, in order to be a good mom, or in order to be a good grandma, or in order to be a good human, I need to fill in the blanks. Just start questioning it. And the more you can question, the more you can actually find your voice. So one of the things that I really like about the way I live my life is shopping at thrift stores. Do I need to shop at thrift stores? When we had young kids, it was pretty much a necessity. Being on one salary and having 5 children and lots of boys who were really rough on clothes, that was a very important part of keeping to a budget on my husband's salary. And now I actually love shopping. I love that I'm a person that is a thrift store shopper. I love keeping clothes out of the landfill. Obviously, I buy things from stores. Most of my shoes, like different things, my underclothing, socks. But there's definitely a lot of things that I feel really good about shopping because I want to be that kind of person to the earth. Also, recycling old quilts and making beautiful quilts, coats and all sorts of things. That feels really good to me. So I want you to just create a new baseline. So say, this is the kind of person I want to be. So you can take the thrift store. This is how many clothes I want in my closet even. Like you could buy a package of hangers and say, if I have 50 hangers, I have 50 things. If I have 100 hangers, I have 100 articles of clothing. And if I want to buy something new, I have to get rid of something. This is the most beautiful thing. In order for you to allow yourself to have relief, you need to come in with your own wisdom and be engaged and active in the whole process. One of the reasons why diets are such a nightmare is because you have left your own personality, life experiences, unique body, maybe a lot of body shame or whatever that is. If you're not bringing that into the equation, it's going to be a disaster. So I really want you to look at your relationship with yourself. Now, I teach weight loss backwards. I teach you to quit thinking about losing weight. We're not going to do that right now. What we're going to do is just embrace our current body. So if you weigh 250 pounds, let's get some clothes that fit us. Let's get a bra that fits us. Let's stop being so mean. And let's start getting curious about, why do you weigh 250 pounds? Well, really, it'd be more on the healthy side, like to not have diabetes and to have more movement and have more freedom, to be like 150. Okay. So we're going to still dress you properly and wear clothes that fit you. And we're going to get curious about why. That's going to give you so much power. Then when you let go of all those expectations, weight loss starts to happen naturally because you're not being such a jerk to yourself. You're not berating yourself and you're not feeling like a jerk. You're a lot more open to seeing what's going on. If that sounds more your style, I invite you to look into my lifetime membership. It is 20 pounds, money back guarantee, 20 pounds down in 90 days. There are 3 coaching calls a week. I created a speedy system of consuming the content. But instead of the 12 full modules with all of that, I shortened them to the 5 core modules. So less than 2.5 hours, you can get the whole gist of the membership. I have the 90-day workbook, which is daily 3 to 5 minute videos. 2.5 hours of content that gives you the big picture, plus those daily videos, 20 pounds down in 90 days. Money back guarantee. There is 0 risk. If you want to ask me questions, you can DM me, email me, or make a 20-minute free coaching call. I can answer any of your questions, and then we can make a decision if this is the right fit. No pressure. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
If you aren't loving your current life and hear yourself saying things like, I should be happier, I should be getting more done, or question how productive and fulfilled you are, this podcast is for you. I'm Dara Thomason, professional quilter turned life coach for quilters, where I show you how to overcome obstacles like perfectionism, people pleasing, overeating, overcomplicating life, so that you can really start to enjoy your life by learning and using tools for your brain to help you transform your everyday living. Are you ready to make these changes? I'm ready to help. Let's start your transformation one UFO at a time.